funny thing, isn't it, in this world now, you can offend people literally in an instant. I know. What do you mean I've offended you? I know. I do. No, but you know what I mean? In the world we live in, everything can be taken the wrong way, can't it? You're on eggshells of everything, you know. Even if you say good morning to somebody now and they give you the wrong look, you kind of feel that you have to explain yourself or be ultra kind, you know. And the bottom line is we should all be kind anyway, but also truth is really important, isn't it? And if people are speaking the truth, then what's the bigger problem? Well, seemingly there's a big problem over here right now. For a one-time pop icon legend, he's been a hit maker since the late 1950s, and a lot of people thinking he should have moved it quite literally because he's offended so many. But as ever, I wanted to give both sides of the story, as I know both sides. Let me explain. Hi, good morning. How are you? Nice to see you. And as ever, thank you so much for joining me. I know we're all big fans of Elvis, aren't we? Everybody loves Elvis Presley. This isn't actually about Elvis per se, but it is obviously including him in the story because when you think about it, oh no, we haven't had a wave. I know. How are you? Sorry. Telling me off. I can hear you tapping that. I can see you tapping that screen. Come on, Neil, wake up, you're saying, aren't you? But seriously, this is about a gentleman who's had mega hits for, oh, so many decades now. He's much beloved over here, Sir Cliff Richard. Now, Cliff, as I say, has been making hits since the late 1950s, cracking it with Move It. And he was Britain's answer to Elvis Presley. Oh, yes, girls, do you remember screaming at him at the Chiswick Empire? Sure you do. And he's still fun today and obviously still doing incredibly well. Now he's got a brand new book out and a new album, and there, you know what it's like, you get invited onto these daytime chat shows and you can really see that the presenters have no idea about this historical background of such a well-loved entertainer. There's so much they can ask him, but it's the usual banal questions, you know. Now what actually popped up was this. You see, Cliff was talking about his hero, and I've met Cliff, worked with him, and this is what he told me about Elvis. He said he literally stopped at his tracks when he first heard Elvis because he was walking along a road. Someone had a car radio, he said, which was rather unique over here in the United Kingdom anyway at that point. And he literally just heard Elvis for the first time and thought, wow, you know, this is the king, you know. And he's been the king forever to so many people, including Sir Cliff Richard, so much so that he aped his act, as he openly admitted, at the very start of his career. Now, of course, fast forward, you talk about what it's like meeting people, and his new autobiography memoir is all about all the legends and people that he spent time with, being lucky enough to meet. And he mentioned the fact that he'd been given a chance to meet Elvis. And apparently, according to Sir Cliff, he turned it down because Elvis was fat, overweight, not looking his best. And now this has caused an uproar. But, you know, let's just look at both sides of the coin. This is a young man who really idolized this particular man. And at that point, Elvis wasn't looking his best. Now, I met Priscilla Presley and interviewed her many times. Lovely lady, very down to earth. And even she pointed out that Elvis didn't like to be pictured when he wasn't looking, as he felt, camera ready, you know, his best. And so, you know, she pointed out that, you know, he would in turn, if possible, try and get away from people if they didn't, you know, if he didn't feel he was looking great. So you can understand the other side of it. There is another iconic performer, Sir Cliff, who's managed to maintain a svelte figure ever since being called fat by Ina Sharples in Coronation Street. That's what triggered it off, apparently. And he's managed to maintain those pop star looks. But on the other side of the coin, you can understand, maybe he didn't want to meet the icon because A, he didn't look his best, B, he didn't want the bubble bursting, and more importantly, you know, it is his choice. Now, some might suggest, and this is where I ask you what you think, was it right to say it so publicly, you know, on a national television show? Or should he really just kept it zipped and moved along? Right now, it looks like a case of we don't talk anymore for a lot of people surrounding Cliff. You like that bond there. But honestly, when you think about it, it's a strange thing, isn't it? Because literally, as I said at the start of the beginning of this video, one wrong word, one wrong anecdote, and literally you're cut down to size. What do you think? Was Cliff right to be honest and say he didn't want a picture with Elvis because he didn't look his best? Or indeed, do you think Cliff was just being silly and at 81 years old should know better? Let me know. Like and share if you get the chance. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.